Both teams have been very impressive in the run-up to today's final. Tyrone probably the foreign team along with Dublin in this year's championship. Donegal showing that they haven't gone away.
When we say it's going to be a good competitive game, does that mean there's going to be good football in it though, Colin?
Well, I'd agree with good. It's going to be competitive. Yeah. It's going to be tight and tough and hard and everything that's good about football. But I think it'll be another orgy of hand passing. I may not pass the 400 hand pass figure we had in Salt Hill last Sunday.
474.
I don't think any game will pass that for the rest of the year. So Connacht final will have a record, I'd say. But it will be thick, tough. I think the Leinster final, on the other hand, it's just merely a matter of how much Dublin win by and what way Westmeath approach the game. If they approach it like last year and set up defensively to keep the score down, if they really go at Dublin, they might, give all their supporters something to shout about for a while and maybe even.
6th successive Ulster final, but it's a new experience for goalkeeper Mark Anthony McGinley, who steps into the shoes vacated by Paul Durkin. He plays behind a full back line, which now shows the return of Neil McGee after suspension and the retention of Kieran Gillespie and Eamon McGee. The half line includes two of those ever-present defenders, Carl Lacey and Frank McGlynn, both seeking a 4th winners' medal this afternoon. At centre field for Donegal, it's Rory Kavanagh from St Eunan's and Oran McNeilish from Gweedore. This is the first Ulster final for wing forward Owen McHugh, who's a son of James and nephew of Martin McHugh from Donegal's All-Ireland winning team back in 1992. And then up front, something special is always expected from Paddy McBrearty and Michael Murphy, while Marty O'Reilly was man of the match a fortnight ago against Monaghan. Meanwhile, Tyrone will start with Niall Morgan between the posts, having replaced Mickey O'Neill for the second game with Cavan. In the full back line, Cathal McCarron is one of 5 players starting today who started in the 2010 final against Monaghan and where the county enjoyed a whopping 10 points victory. Justin McMahon also played in that win, as did Peter Hart. He's picked at left half but scored 2-4 in attack just 2 weeks ago. Centre field picks itself with the very mobile Colm Kavanagh and Matty Donnelly set for a very busy afternoon. In the half forwards, the expectation is that Cathal McShane will be a scoring threat, Niall Sludden augment midfield and Roland McNabb work as an auxiliary defender. Of late, the scores up front have also been coming from Conor McAlskey and Ronan O'Neill, with Sean Kavanagh set to play in his 8th Ulster final match, and that includes 2 replays. Michael, it has the makings of an absolutely fabulous night. First chance for Morgan. First score. Good start.
Great start, and we didn't need the umpire to signify that. We knew about the crowd
from the edges, the perimeter, and that's Marty O'Reilly, and that's a second wide already by Donegal. Matty Donnelly breezing forward here. Very strong performer. Nicely on here as far as Tiernan McCann once again. Retained here by McAlskey. Back in as far as Sean Kavanagh. Kavanagh playing in his 8th Ulster final match. 2 replays included in that lot, 03 and 05, which they both won. All the way. Lovely mover of the ball, Sludden can play centre back, centre forward, you name it. McShane usually hits the ball on sight. This one drops in and drops over.
That was a great score. Bit of pace by Sludden, made it, came across, dragged the Donegal defence. Look at the angle of the run, came right across the defence, left a little opening for himself. Donegal players stand back, gave him the chance to get the kick. They were
nailed down. McBrearty, who's played in an Ulster final in every one of his 6 senior years so far. An amazing stat for someone who's only 22 years of age. Facing up to this one in a packed St Tiernach's Park. Well, Morgan will be anticipating it going up and over his crossbar. McBrearty now, can he measure it and get the desired accuracy? He most definitely can.
And that's a little set.
Kicked with a bit of difficulty. Too much difficulty there by Owen McHugh, but it's gone off at sets himself very high standards. Big targets as well. So here's his opportunity to level up the match.
And
massive cheer. And years of age, played in the All-Ireland minor final 2 years ago, back as far as Marty O'Reilly, then retained here by Ryan McHugh. In support of him is Oran McNeilish. Little jinking run here. Back on that right. And over the bar as well. And Donegal lead this final for the first time. Beautifully done. Lovely combined play by the two players involved here. And when he got it back onto the right there, Ryan McHugh just hit it straight and true.
Yeah, because that's the amount of time wasted, and we want to get as much playing time as possible into each half.
Morgan with one so far from one free. Slightly right of centre this time. He's a confident kicker. Strikes it, but strikes it wide.
And that's the little run there, but he misses it, and now you're caught. You've got to release that ball when you're in the tackle.
He took a lot of time with that one. I think he's lucky to get a free out of it. But
he is, Gerard, very lucky to get a free out of that. Most referees would give him that for over-carrying. Good tackling, not rewarded.
But it is going to be a free for Donegal. They've taken it very quickly while you're looking at replays of the picture. O'Reilly. Back in again towards Ryan McHugh. Confident young player, and he underlines that with another score. Another point by the 22-year-old from Kilcar.
Well, at the moment, Gerard, that's where the scores are going to come from. That's been the case since the beginning of the game. As long-range shooting, the instruction is quite clear to me. They're not even trying to work in the ball. If they get within 30, 35 yards of goal, the instruction is to shoot. They've done that, and that's fine when it goes well.
With Donegal at least trying to stretch them as best they can. Colm Kavanagh. McShane kicking under pressure, up into the air and rising for that one and taking it down well was the cornerback Aidan McCrawley, back in as far as Sludden, and Sludden puts it over the bar. Good point. Only his third ever championship points in this his first season.
Doing Tyrone are defensive. Peter Hart, you mentioned him, what a player, what a great player, but we haven't seen him make one run, one foray up front yet.
Paddy McGrath making his first foray forward, back as far as McGlynn, who's got his ball in possession many times in this game. Always a big influence. Back once again to the player who's got 2 points so far. It's the darting Ryan McHugh. He fancies another one. It's his day.
Well, it's at this stage, Gerard, that Mickey Hart is saying who is picking up Ryan McHugh, not who is Ryan McHugh marking, and he's the guy who needs a man marker at the minute because he's doing all the damage.
That is one of the difficulty with the Tyrone structure. There is a structure there, but apart from the fact that I can see Gillespie call McCarron back from Hart. McCarron fancies it. Doesn't get too many championship scores. In fact, that's his very first.
And we mentioned that man Peter Hart, where was he making the forward run, but you saw it on that occasion because he set it up. There he comes through, feeds it off at the last minute, right on the shoulder. Great shot, great score, well worked opportunity.
Lacey back here as far as Neil McGee. Carried on here with some difficulty by Kieran Gillespie. McGee on his shoulders, supporting him, twisting and turning into challenges. Back here as far as Oran McNeilish, booting it from outside and putting it over the bar. All of a sudden we're getting some wonderful scores. An illustration of the outside shooting by Donegal, initially by Ryan McHugh, who's got 3, and now by Oran McNeilish.
And in the first 10 minutes they were the ones that were going wide and they look wild. Now when they're going over the bar they look like superb scores because they are superb scores. Again, Donegal shooting from afar. It's working for them at the minute.
Matty Donnelly today, by the way, has been picked up by Marty O'Reilly. And Marty O'Reilly did a very good job against Carl O'Connell, etching the lead to 3 points. Let's see. Up into the air. Again, the same result as McBride. Space. Didn't use him, and now they're under pressure, Donegal, because Tyrone have this chance to break. Matty Donnelly. McShane just to his right-hand side, holds it up. Sees only one player waiting inside, that's Ronan O'Neill, in near the small rectangle. So they've got to build it up and wait, and give it to Hart, and Hart will chance it. The umpires take up a good position right behind it, a good view of the flight of the ball. And here.
Yeah, McHugh did get the ball away, but watch the tap on the back just there, coming in late as well. Definitely a free, no doubt about it. Good call by the referee. You cannot touch a man from behind. It's the simplest free to give away in the book. It's so easy for a referee to make that decision.
Well, Matty Donnelly gave it away, and it's going to be Paddy McBrearty to try and get his second point of this final. Stretch it now to a 3-point advantage. 6 minutes to go to half-time. Makes a better angle for himself with that little run-up, and then makes no mistake. Both of them is turned back to Rory Kavanagh. They've had possession for about 45 seconds, it seems, but then finally get it into Gillespie here. Turned back to Lacey. Under hit. scored in 2 of the championship matches so far this season. Had a great chance there to have stretched it out to a 4-point lead as a couple of players on the ground. The referee stops the game quite correctly. A collision.
Yeah, no doubt that was a wasted opportunity. Well created. Again, that punchy little run that allows a man come through late, and the player's taking a much needed break. Now you might say from hot, because it doesn't look like either team have been overly physically extended in this game so far.
Well, that looks to be Owen McHugh, who's one of the players involved. This is that shot again by Lacey when he got into the clear here, round to the man.
It's one of those 50-50s. Are you coming to block the ball and you meet the man as you do so? Can you stop the run? Well, he went on 3 steps, had the hands up. It's a difficult one.
Well, the back is hardly meant to get out of the way.
Well, that's it. That's it, Ger. Who's the onus on to get out of the way? Both players. I don't think the referee will take...
The referee is now writing the name here of Matty Donnelly. And he's given him the black book. Oh, that is a big loss now.
Well, Ger, you know, I'd like to see that again. And, well, I think I've seen enough to say that that's an unfair call. To put it for Tyrone.
Just watch this again.
Yeah, let's take it up. I actually thought he was fouled on that occasion, to be quite honest with you, which he was. He was bundled over, so there's a free in that should have happened as he went down to
there was a leg trip by McShane. I think that's it. Just watch it again here. Did he pull the leg?
But that's a foul, Ger. That is a foul and should be called as a foul. And the trip wouldn't have happened if the free had been given in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh, it's harmless stuff. Harmless stuff.
So 2
points to 4. Also, let me mention that in a few minutes' time, we will be giving you the chance to win a great prize here on the programme, because you could be off to Abu Dhabi. That's Spillane, Colm Rourke, watching this one here with me in the studio. I suppose, Colm, it's been interesting without exactly being enthralling, maybe.
Well, I find it very mildly interesting. Like last Sunday, we complained about the Connacht final. The only difference between these 2 games is that it's dry today. It's a beautiful day. It was wet last Sunday. People said it was the conditions last Sunday. Well, we have fantastic conditions here today. It's a bit like the Battle of the Somme 100 years on. The troops move up the field in a line and then they move back, except they have no guns today. And the shooting has been terrible on both sides. I think about 8 or 9 wides each. Donegal's slightly the better team, and it's going to put a bit of pressure on the young Tyrone players who haven't really stood up to it very well in the first half. But it's poor stuff from my point of view.
Well, I suppose, Pat, the scoreline just kind of backs that up if you want any kind of analysis of it.
I think
like 7 points to 4, and there hasn't been a score that I can remember for either side
for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Look, Michael, yes, we were critical last week of Connacht. They say, you're always critical of Connacht because the West are the minnows, and we why not pick on Ulster? And we'll pick on Ulster today because perfect conditions for football. This is right. We can say it's intriguing, enthralling, and intense and tactical. But this is modern-day Gaelic football, and people will say, throw out red herrings and say there was bad games in the past. Yes, there was, but we're just talking about what we see in front of us.
Sure.
This is modern-day Gaelic football where it's, wait a minute, it's modern-day Gaelic football where it's all about conceding kick-outs, it's retreating in mass, it's about defence, it's about stopping the opposition, and it's about executing that game plan in a safety first. And look at the statistics, 14 wides by the 2 teams, scoring return from Donegal, 1 out of every 2 shots. Scoring return for Tyrone, 16 shots at goal, 4 scored. No Donegal forward scored in the first half. And you go down, drill down to the hand passing and the kick passing. Hand passing, Donegal hand passed the ball a ratio of 8 times to 1. There was both teams kicked the ball 14 times each in that half. So that's modern day Gaelic football.
Well, you see, I can't understand this because everybody says it's very tactical. I cannot understand for the life of me why a side allows the opposition goalkeeper to take a short kick out. Because Dublin have proved that it's possible, push up on the kick out and force them to kick long, and if you lose it, then you retreat into your defensive shell and you have your sweeper and so on. Because so one doesn't rule out the other. But
what it is modern day Gaelic football is the equivalent of painting by numbers. It's simplicity. It's a very simplistic approach. And the bottom line, I read an article by James O'Connor one time. He said Paul O'Connell came in to give the Clare hurlers a team talk, and he said the keys. He said you've got to show that you're going to be different today, and they're not showing things to be different. You've got to ask questions of the opposition, and Tyrone in particular are not asking questions of Donegal. They're allowing Donegal experience, composed on the ball. They're giving them possession up to the 45-metre line, asking no questions of them, and then what are Donegal doing? 4 superb long-range points over the blanket. Hey, presto, and that's the difference.
In fairness, with Tyrone, their strategy was working well through the first 10 or 15 minutes because the way they set up, and you were making the point, Donegal were trying to shoot from outfield.
Well, everyone knew what the strategy of both teams. They'd both retreat back in number. And for the first couple of minutes, Tyrone...
Be a blow to you.
Yes.
And also, by the way, Donegal, were they lucky not to have one as well?
Well, I always thought this black card is a stupid rule. You can take the fella, head off a fella and get a yellow card. Now run into somebody or sort of give the most innocuous trip. Now, when you see this, it does look a blatant black card. And I think
If you're the referee there and you see that, it's hard to not take action.
Well, David Coldrick is chosen for a purpose because he's the best referee in the country, himself and David Goff. Mead mightn't have many footballers, but they have 2 very good refs. And in this case, too, I don't think this is a black card either. I think that you can see that a very innocuous sort of thing. Like he stops a man maybe putting his foot on him. That's not a black card.
I think the key word is deliberate. Now, in that instance with Cathal McShane, deliberate pull down, not sure. Touch and go. Matty Donnelly's definitely a black card. He had plenty time to pull out. He carried through. He took out Owen McHugh. I think it was a definite black card. The problem is Matty Donnelly will look back and he'll think of all the instances over the year where black cards should have been shown or weren't shown, or yellow cards were shown instead of black cards. And what's happening is David Coldrick, I think, is doing a damn good job. But what referees are doing, it's an a la carte interpretation. One day it's a black, the next day it's no card at all, the next day it's similar.
David Coldrick didn't make the decision because he let the play go on.
Yes.
And he was...
Here. It's Tyrone who had to make those 2 changes because of 2 black cards. Under pressure immediately. Martin Murphy, who went to midfield for the throw-in. Off here as far as Matt Brearty. A point would do very nicely at the start of this, and he's got it after 12 seconds.
Yeah, great run, great play by Murphy, and that's the type of determination, the intensity they need to bring to attack, not play the ball out around for too long. Good score, and they've continued where they left off from.
So it's Donegal who lead here by double scores. Ball back out in the middle of the field again. Tiernan McCann. Well, this is telling it now to Tyrone. Go and do it if you're able to do it. There's a Tyrone player on the ground. Play is continuing. The referee has noted that the player is down, so he's decided to stop the play. Just concerned and worried that it might be a head injury to Tiernan McCann. Well, he was in possession a moment ago. Don't know exactly what happened immediately after that.
It looks like just after he let the ball go, just there. Now, how is that any different from Matty Donnelly's?
11 shirt, and in possession, at least he was, until the whistle went there.
Well, Tyrone are going to have to come out in this half, Ger, and do something different than they did in the first half. They can't play to the same template that they did. That just won't work for them. They'll score another 3 or 4 points. Donegal will score 5 or 6, and the game will all be over. They need to go at the game now, right from the first 10 minutes.
And Rory Brennan is trying to do exactly that, has a good left boot, and illustrates that with a lovely point here.
And it's pace, not just running pace, but it's pace with which you play the dead balls. When you get a free, you got to move that ball. When you get a sideline, you got to move that ball. You got to keep the opposition moving all the time, and they did on that occasion. Tyrone will get a purple patch, is what they make of it, but they're allowing Donegal to bring the ball out so easily and build a platform from the middle of the park.
And the kick out has been short once again. And back here with Marty O'Reilly. Able to carry this ball forward here. Frank McGlynn. Oran Mac becomes available. And Kavanagh picks up another good position. Always available. Sean Kavanagh breaks the first tackle. Still going. Trying to lay it off. Came off Thompson. Goes back to Hart. And with that left boot, he puts it over. So that's 2 in a row. McNabb.
If a spare man on the forward line, if they can just find him all on his own, screaming for the ball. Has it now, but it's a bit too late. Had to travel too far for it.
Back in here towards McNamee. That one has gone across the face of goal, and it's gone 2 here. And one of the two stayed back. That was clever. Out by Aidan McCrory once again. using their heads now, Tyrone. They're only 2 behind. They're dangerous. Hart is always dangerous. As a loose player outside, it's Kavanagh fisting it in and over the bar. 1 between them. 8. Ryan McHugh holds on. Gives it back as far as Frank McGlynn. Murphy was an option. Murphy with his little marker there. Cathal McCarron out with him. Wherever Murphy goes, McCarron goes. So with those two effectively out of the game, it's nearly 13 outfield players against 13 because they're having their own private battle. Martin McElhenney breaking through 3, 4. McNabb goes after it, lays it off, but only as far as McCarron, and then he gives it to Hart. McCarron's on his left shoulder. Murphy has to go back.
Oh, not a good ball by Peter Hart. I know what he was trying to do. He needs scorers on the pitch.
Doesn't look like him from the far off distance that we're at here, but that is a lovely kick by Niall Morgan. He's now put over his... Somebody's got to make a burst sooner or later and try and go for it. Lacey's forward. Every attack from here on in is going to have to be crucial. Back to Ryan McHugh again.
And just not shooting from the distance that they were shooting from in the first half.
But is there a way through? Tyrone trying to keep them out. McElhenney laying it off here. They crisscross and try to once again come in at different angles. McBrearty, look at the way he's surrounded here. Back again towards McNeilish, looks at it, admires it because it's gone over the bar. It's a beautiful score.
Oh, what a score, Ger. What an opportunity. It looked like there was nothing on, and just as we said, they're not using the tactic that worked for them in the first half. He strokes it over from 50, 60 yards. Great score, puts a little bit of daylight.
Well, they hadn't scored for 20 minutes, Donegal. Tyrone have scored the last 4.
Oh, what an opportunity of a goal. What a great opportunity of a point. Cathal McCarron did get inside. The pass wasn't good initially. He was well blocked, and then when he got inside, he blasted. He had nothing on his mind, just to hit it as hard.
Tyrone come forward. They're behind by a point. Sean Kavanagh's available. Scored already in this half. He's now kicked another one. Oh, it's like the good old days. Sean Kavanagh, who was Footballer of the Year back in 2008 when they won the All-Ireland, comes up with a second point here to level the match for the second time in this second half.
And it's the timing of the pass again by Sludden. Just lays it off when he sees Kavanagh in a bit of space. Even when the man was approaching, he had the composure to kick it over the bar, and I thought Kavanagh wouldn't have the legs to get on the end of that ball. Superb play by him. Game is in the melting pot, Ger.
And a superb tackle that time to make it all possible. And the new player who'd come in there during the first half, Mark Bradley, making that tackle. Stoppages that the referee is quite legitimately entitled to add on.
And should be added on. Traditionally they weren't. It was at the discretion of the referee, but now they are actually adding it on.
Carried forward here by Owen McHugh. Lacey. Back once again to the 21-year-old. Twists and turns. Did 180 degrees there for a moment. Inside towards the ruggedly built Eamon McGee, who's left the football behind him. Paddy McBrearty's still out there. He's not one who's been replaced, thankfully, because he has too much to offer. Peter Hart.
And defensively now, Tyrone coming out on top, have turned the ball over 3 times. The last 3 times Donegal have been up the pitch. A score from here would be crucial.
Mark Bradley has it. Hart just about held on to it. Christy Toy after him. The arm went in there. Ball taken from the attacker. Donegal group well. And bending his back and taking it up there is Ryan McHugh.
These are the type of tussles we were looking for in the first half, that 50-50 ball. No whistle being blown at the minute for any of those.
We're getting it in the second half. Here's Kieran Gillespie. In as far as Martin McElhenney. 2 forwards for Donegal inside the 45-metre line. They're in near the 13-metre line, so the ball carriers, Christy Toy and everybody else, have to carry, hope they can draw fouls. And this championship trying to get it over that crossbar and trying to put Donegal in front from 50 metres out. It's up into the air. Has it the direction? Has it what? Just listen to the roar.
Well, that's what these guys do, Ger. That's why they're leaders. That's why they're so good.
10-9. His team in front. He's the captain. Now they go back into defence. And Tyrone have to come again. Tyrone have scored 5 points in the second half so far, against just 3 for Donegal. Building up a little bit of a head of steam here. Darren McCurry. McCurry lets it off with that trusty left foot. It's a great score, it really is. Wonderful point by Darren McCurry.
Great score, Joe. Well
here for Tyrone to beat Tipperary in the final. But now it's every attack. Christy Toy now to see if he can put Donegal back in front again. He's having a go from an angle, and he's got it!
Well, he came on for one reason. He came on with experience, composure. He's done it, got a super score. Now Tyrone have to come out again. This game will go to the wire.
It mightn't have been much of a first half, but the conclusion is absolutely gripping with drama. 11-10, Donegal are in front. Now who's going to win the Anglo-Celt Cup for 2016?
And the way they're shaping up on this attack, Ger, at the minute, is there is no Tyrone forward on side. It's going to have to be a kick from outside or try and run it through, but that's going to be so difficult with the amount of Donegal players back.
McCurry with ball in hands. Into the path here of Justin McMahon. Sludden has gone to the right-hand side. He's been tracked, however. Back once again to McCurry. Fresh legs. Through the centre, maybe. Tiernan McCann. Looking for somebody to make that run. That run has been made by Ronan McNabb. Out into the corner towards Brennan. Back into McNabb. Looking to try and get an equaliser from somewhere. In came the challenge there as Mark Bradley was coming in. And eventually the goalkeeper, Mark Anthony McGinley, picks it up. Rory Brennan was coming in. And there were questions being asked there.
No, there is questions asked. And we might...
11-10, they're leading. Inside to McFadden, couldn't hold on to it. Goes after it again. Tyrone win the ball back. And that's Tiernan McCann there. Out to the substitute, Mark Bradley.
And I know we don't know the script there, but you'd have to say that Tyrone are going to level this game. They get the opportunity, they're capable, they're good enough at doing it.
We're hearing there are 6 minutes. 6 minutes to be added on. Peter Hart into the first of those. So 5 remaining. 5 minutes to determine who's going to be the winner of 2016, if there is to be a winner this afternoon. Sean Cavanagh's got 2 points already, driving the team forward, having a go, up into the air. A God directed, in it goes, and God was directing at that time. A magnificent point by Sean Kavanagh, 3 for him. What a second half by the captain himself.
But you watch the build up to that score. He had so much physicality to get through, so many tackles to, he just walks them all off, kicks it so high, he could only kick it high. The wind may have carried it a little bit, it did enough. What a score by him. Matched what Murphy did earlier on.
I'm not sure any team deserves to lose this. It's 11 apiece.
And they may not lose it, Ger. We could end up back here another day, and that's the way it's shaping up at the minute.
3 minutes to go of the added time. Or is that 4 minutes to go? Beg your pardon, 4 to go. The official said 6.
And now it's become so evident that Tyrone take back 15 players. When Tyrone have the ball, Donegal take back 15 players, trying to play out the clock when neither of them are a point ahead.
Well, there will surely be scoring opportunities in the remaining 4 minutes, probably for both teams. How are they going to use them? How are they going to set up? Well, you know the answer to that. Managers urging their teams just to give that extra little bit. They've already given plenty, and they're still coming. And that time it's Ryan McHugh who goes down under the weight of the challenge. The referee has blown his whistle. If you were in his shoes, would you do anything else? 2 points already. Man who's scored 6 goals and 152 points in an amazing championship career. And he's probably feeling, and Donegal may be feeling, this could be a winner.
I don't believe he's had a shot from play for goal yet. All his shots have been from frees.
I don't remember it anyway. He's made 2. Here he goes. It's going away left and he's missed it. They stay level.
Tyrone score. The discipline of the tackling, so crucial.
Can't afford to give away a free either. Mark Bradley, what a tense occasion it has become. Lackluster at the beginning of this match, so cagey and so predictable at times. Peter Hart might go for a winner here. Oh, it's a huge one. He's got it. They're in front. Peter Hart has made it 12-11.
What an outrageous goal by Peter Hart to take on that responsibility, to kick it from there and to be accurate with it. Such a crucial score at such a crucial stage of the game.
90 seconds, unless the referee adds a little bit more. And Tyrone have won it back again. Hart is jumping for joy. Meanwhile, his colleagues are getting on with it. And they might well tag on another point. Who knows? They go for it with Kieran McGeary. They're going to win it, surely, Tyrone. Last year's under-21 captain, Kieran McGeary, in just his second ever championship match, has put it over the bar, took the pass here, put it over the bar and made it 13 points to 11. An amazing finale.
Yeah, and they came out in the second half for 10 minutes. You didn't quite know what they were going to do, but they've responded. And responded so well after kicking great scores, and it was always going to take something special to win a game like this. Peter Hart delivered that.
And that line ball's going to have to be taken again. The referee blew his whistle. He's got a yellow card.
And I think
Tyrone are Ulster champions. And the final score here as Tyrone celebrate their 14th ever Ulster title win. It's Tyrone 13 points, Donegal 11. And finally, it's Michael Hassan, the Ulster Council President of the GAA, who hands over the cup to Sean Kavanagh, who today wins his 5th Ulster Winners' Medal and played a captain's part in Tyrone's victory.
That's an extreme disappointment, Jerry. I suppose to be caught, fairly late on, with Peter Hart's magnificent point, and we weren't able to respond for him. It's hard to take, but listen, we're going to have to take it on the chin and move on.
Yeah, lads, it was a thrilling finish to the game, but Tomas, overall, the three of you seem disappointed with it.
Yeah, I suppose it was a very defensive game. They set up, Tyrone would come up the field, they'd meet a wall. Donegal would come up the field, they'd meet a wall. It was a poor game in terms of tactics, but for the last 10 minutes there was a bit of excitement in it. In that second half, Tyrone came out, Donegal were well on top. They started very well in the second half. I expected Donegal to kick on, but you have to credit Tyrone. They came out a completely different team in the second half. You'd have to credit Mickey Hart, I think. Rory Brennan marking Ryan McHugh was a huge factor. Ryan McHugh was running right in the first half, and they finished stronger. It was the right team for them to beat. Donegal was a huge team for Tyrone to beat, and you have to give credit to Mickey Hart. He's after building another team that he can now bring down to Croke Park and genuinely contest the All-Ireland. So great credit to Tyrone. It's a huge occasion for them, and congrats to them.
They nearly beat your fellas last year. I should remind you, Croke Park as well.
They beat us after.
Aaron, what did you make of it?
Yeah, it was sort of too tactical, too cagey. We felt that the two teams never really opened up until it come to the last 5 or 10 minutes. Some wonderful scores, quick turnovers and interplay back up the field, and it was probably more of what we all had hoped for and sort of expected. We just didn't get to see enough of it.
Yeah. OK, now the big talking points, there were lots of talking points. Obviously the black cards were two of those. So Desi...
Not an easy task, Des. Very controversial. Tyrone weren't looking good in a good place at the time. There was 3 points in it. Donegal were on top.
Is this a black card?
Yeah, Matty Donnelly comes out, but did he make a genuine attempt to stop his run? It's hard to call. David Coldrick is a very experienced ref, and he's the only man really that can tell whether he wanted to go into him. But I think myself maybe had an opportunity to slow down a little bit, because he went in fairly strong. Now Matty Donnelly's an extremely strong fella, and when he hit Owen McHugh, it was a big collision there.
Tomas, was it?
Yeah, in real time.
This one.
Yeah, we'll call Matt Shane. I think this is extremely harsh. Now, a lad is lying on his back. He doesn't see where he's going. He probably thought he might have got a free there. He throws out his hand, and you can see the umpire coming in there and having a word with David Coldrick. But to finish the game with something like this, it's just difficult. He could argue the point that he was protecting himself and protecting the head, but. Yeah. I don't know.
It was harsh enough. I think the second one was very harsh. I think the first one, look, only Matty Donnelly can say. I think he was coming at fierce pace, and could he have got out of the way? I'm not sure. I think it was very, very quick.
Would have you sympathy for David Coldrick?
I would. I think it's a very, very hard call to do. He was brave, and he called it as a black card. The easy thing to do there, Des, and the thing that we see refs doing is throw the yellow. Yeah. And he didn't. He obviously he was confident in the decision he made, and you'd have to trust him on it.
Aaron, your verdict on those two?
Yeah, I think, well, definitely the second was extremely harsh. Matty Donnelly's, I would say that I think momentum sort of carried him into it. I feel his 2 feet was off the ground. He just got one down. He had his hands up. I know you can say he was trying to block him, could have got out of the way, but I do think it was a harsh call on him, given that he's such an influential player as well for Tyrone.
All right. Now, you made the point, and when we were watching, that Tyrone, the start of the second half, you could see straight away that they were different and they were pushing up more in Donegal. Yeah,
they were indeed. I think you'll see from a couple of the clips here. This is just how they set up. We said that it was too tactical a game. It's like a game of tennis nearly, where they're staying away from each other. We've come accustomed to see Tyrone this past 18 months or so putting serious intensity once they reach the 65-metre line. They have only one player in their half, yet Ryan McHugh can waltz through the 45-metre line. Now, it's a superb score by Ryan McHugh, but there's no pressure on him, no one tackles him. That'll disappoint Mickey Hart. The second half, they're a completely different animal. Every time a Donegal man gets the ball here, you can see there's someone chasing him, hassling him, and looking to put contact. Now Ryan McHugh comes inside, ball's blocked, turnover, and it launches another attack. Similarly here, ball comes inside, going towards Anthony Thompson, Colm Kavanagh, more contact on, gets a turnover, and you would have to say that Mickey Hart definitely made the call at half-time that this is something that needed to change in order to get them back into the game, and I think it was one of the major parts in helping them to rebuild, helping them to get more ball and build more attacks.
Because all season, Tomas, you were making the point, Tyrone were so effective on the counter-attack, and we didn't see that.
Their game days against Derry and Cavan, they were brilliant at it. You know, against Donegal, we were all wondering what they would do, and in the first half, it just showed. Every time they come up the field, there was Donegal bodies back. They struggled with it. They had to rotate. They weren't as effective. They weren't as used to it as Donegal were. Donegal seemed to pick off their scores a lot easier. Tyrone struggled with it, and they had to work it around. They had to be patient with it, and they didn't cope with it as good as Donegal did. I think they were a bit slow in the first half. I think we've mentioned it already, they were a bit sluggish. And look, you can see here Donegal bodies back, and McShane taking a poor choice of shot selection there, and Donegal mopped up in the second half. What a turnover there, and then a great shoulder by Jonathan Munro. Watch the speed of this, what a change in the second half. They did it about 4 or 5 times in the second half. They didn't make hay all the time, but brilliant run by Sludden, up to Sean Kavanagh. Only 2 men back, and still, even the inside Tyrone man there could have peeled off, and a ball in would be an option. But what a kick by Sean Kavanagh, what a great score. In the second half, I think the intensity Tyrone showed just upped everything. You know, they knew they had to improve everything, and they did that. They improved their defence, they improved their tackling, they improved forward play as well. So it was just, that was a huge difference to the second half, and the outcome was proven by it.
Were Donegal unlucky, Desi?
I think their second half performance wasn't up to what they'd expect. Like 4 points in the second half, the game was there for them to go and win, and I think Tyrone brought more to it. I think when Ryan McHugh's influence was nullified in the second half, I think that was a major turning point, because his influence in Donegal team was incredible at the minute.
Okay. We saw the Sean Kavanagh point. It was like, while some people were disappointed, the long-range shooting was a joy in this match.
Yeah, there was, and that's the way the game has gone. You need your shooters scoring from long range, and that's the modern game. There was plenty of times when there was wides and poor shooting, but at times it was brilliant points. And Ryan McHugh in the first half got 3 points, and that's a brilliant point. He's a fair boot for a small lad. He's a great kicker of the ball as well. Comes out here, and Orr McNeilish, who's having a brilliant season outside of the boot, and I think teams are going to have to adapt. This is the style of football. If you want to get points, you're going to have to shoot from range. Another great score coming up here from Darren McCurry, and he's a great player to be able to bring in for Tyrone and Mickey Hart, because you know when he comes on, he's one of these forwards that'll always find himself in the right spot and kick a score. Here's Sean Kavanagh. You don't stop this man very easily. Straight through 3 or 4 Donegal man. And this is what you call leadership. It's an absolute incredible point, and it hangs in the air for a while. You can see the crowd, and that was a massive score at a crucial time in the game. And here's another absolutely incredible point. Peter Hart, now he does this regularly. Now another lad would say you'd be mad to shoot from that distance, but that sails over by about 30 yards, and I think that sealed the win for Tyrone. Great scores.
They were great scores, and it meant a lot to them, we could see at the end. What about our man of the match? Who are our nominees for our man of the match, Tomas?
Yeah, Des, I suppose it was a huge day for Tyrone, but Ryan McHugh has to get a mention. You know, I thought he was excellent, a guy for his size. He has speed, he has skill, he has unbelievable heart. He had a brilliant performance in that first half in particular. We went for Sean Kavanagh, the old dog. I thought he was immense, what an influence, and he is on his team, and for the younger players to watch a player like him. and Colin McCarron. You know, I thought he was excellent today. Tyrone's go-to man went to put fires out. He kept the great Michael Murphy quiet today, and he kicked a score himself. So they're the 3 players we went for.
And Desi, who gets the award?
Sean Kavanagh gets the award tonight. I think 3 points from play in the second half, but his leadership throughout was incredible, and he's just a real warrior for that Tyrone team.
Yeah, okay. Well, congratulations to Sean then. There he is collecting his Airman the Match award afterwards, but Tyrone declined to do interviews with us afterwards. Well, still to come on the programme.